Alright, welcome guys. Let's see. Alright, so today is Tuesday. We're gonna do some strategical chess strategy training. Let me just turn on this timer. Alright, this is why to play. And I'm gonna set this chessboard, this position in my chessboard. Usually that's how I train. To play. And first of all, black is threatening to take the pawn on g3. Okay. It looks like that black already has a big advantage here because his pieces are, his knight and bishop are developed, whereas black only has, black's pieces are developed, like the knight and bishop, they're out, and white only has one piece, that's a bishop, that is already out. So if I were white here, one of my main ideas to try to exchange the queens to lessen the risk of getting checkmated. So white has this weakness on g3, and that's why black's bishop, the black's queen, is attacking that weak pawn on g3. So I was thinking, okay, if I'm white, I'm gotta figure out how to get rid of the queens. And black doesn't have any real weakness. This pawn on c7 is, it's undefended, but there's no way that white can punish black from leaving that pawn on c7. Okay, so I'll be here trying to exchange the queens off the board, and most likely black will avoid changing queens, so it's gonna go to f5, also threatening to take the rook on b1. But now how should white react? Okay, so trying to figure out what am I gonna do with my rook if, for example, white plays queen to f5. Yeah, it's tough position to play. Okay, so maybe after black plays queen f5, I can play. Okay, I can play. I think bishop e4 is fine. Then if queen e6, then I have this c4, huh? Because the idea is if queen takes pawn here on c4, then bishop h7 with the discovered attack against the black queen on c4. So that's tricky. Okay, it's interesting. And for example, knight to e7 to prevent the white bishop from going to d5. White also has this bishop a3 to pressure that knight on e7 together with the queen on h4. So yeah, looks like that white has something like tempos. If white can get tempos, then he's gonna be good. We can survive. Maybe after queen h4 for black, it's not queen f5. It's the best move, but I don't know what else. Bishop g5, bishop f6. And if, for example, queen takes queen, then bishop takes queen. It's possible. That's interesting. Black has that bishop f6 thing. Here. Hitting the queen on h4. Maybe bishop a3 is not the correct idea. Or even c4 is not the correct idea. Maybe g4. Okay. After queen e6, black is threatening to take the pawn on a2. Okay. I'll still play queen h4 here. Then queen a6, bishop e4. Queen h4, queen f5, bishop e4, queen e6. I might play a4 just to prevent black from capturing the pawn on the a pawn. Then if for example f5, then bishop, I can retreat my bishop to c2 with the idea of bishop b3 to x-ray the queen on e6 and the king on g8. Okay, here we go. Alright, time's up. Now it's time to look for the answer. Okay, quote, positional chess without creativity. No one can play with just one grand game plan, followed from the start until the end of the game. Rather, the plan may change from move to move depending on the opponent's reactions, and there may be several candidate plans to switch between. As I see it, positional factors in chess are things such as pawn structure, weak squares, and good and bad pieces. All of them have a few basic principles that are easy to follow. Grandmaster Niels Grandelius from Sweden has said that playing positionally means playing without creativity. He argues that positional decisions do not get difficult until the principles are questioned. Often they should be, but in simple positions, there is less need for that. Simple moves for simple solutions. Okay? Sometimes there is actually nothing wrong with making a move without having a plan at all. Occasionally, it's best to improve a piece without really knowing what to do on the next move. All right? But only if it is a good positional move. I have noticed that many students I have had, including myself, have played in too complicated a style while trying to take everything into account. We have forgotten that development and piece placement are often the most important things. The first plan is to complete development. The Swedish international master Emil Hermansson has half seriously added that it is not completed until you have created a luft for the king. Okay, I honestly believe that the advice of playing simply can be enough for many players to improve significantly. At least it is connected to playing faster. While positional chess is every positional factor separated, I see strategic chess as all factors interwoven. The pawn structure needs to suit the pieces, and the placement should be adapted to the imbalances. When the players have castled on the opposite wings, it is positionally to avoid getting a weak pawn, but it is probably not a good strategy to spend a tempo on such a thing. It is fully impossible to have a positionally bad position and yet strategically a good one. Okay. Here's the example of the German league where I played Grufholst. I cannot pronounce his name. I wanted to catch the train and reach the night ferry to Sweden. The game could only take 2.5 hours. I started violating as many positional rules as possible. Okay. All right. So Grandmaster Axel Smith from Sweden, the author of this book, was playing white against Gemsa. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. White to move. Quote, white's position looks like beginners. Two minor pieces sit on their initial squares, while the queen has already moved. The king cannot castle in either wing, and the g-pawn is backward. Yes, it's a backward pawn. Black, on the other hand, has developed, castled, and occupied the center. Positionally, black is much better. However, the white pieces are cooperating with each other. The rook on b1 stops the c8 bishop. Okay. Yeah, it is pressuring this pawn on b7. The bishop on g2 stops rook b8. Gonna go here because bishop takes and cannot retake with a pawn without losing material. And knight e7 due to bishop takes b7. The queen stops a6 because bishop takes. The queen stops a6 followed by b5 because I think rook takes b5. Then if takes, then queen takes this one. Queen takes rook. Okay, all those pieces work together towards the same goal. The white king cannot be attacked behind the central pawns, at least not for the moment. White is much worse positionally, and he is not really threatening anything. Despite that, I think his position is better. But it is extremely risky strategy. One slight mistake and it will backfire. That's what happened to Niels Grandelius when he lost a short game against Grandmaster Benjamin Bok from Dutch, from Netherlands in Chorus 2010. Year 2010. That game reached the position after e5. And Bok won a brilliancy prize after checkmating in 21 moves. After the game, the computer quickly found the key moves for white on moves 12 and 13. The strategy is incredible. Even Magnus Carlsen could not believe it worked. However, it does. Grandelius showed the idea that when he took revenge by beating an unsuspecting Elta Safarli in the Olympiad later the same year. G4. Wow. What? Since the bishop on c8 has to stay put, the pawn is untouchable. White plans either knight g1 to h3 to f2, followed by d3, followed by bishop e3. Or. So that's one of the ideas. Another idea is to play here d3 followed by bishop e3 followed by knight, then push pawn. Wow, okay. I'm just wondering what's wrong with my move here. Move there. Okay, so it says here, black's move, I turn on the Stockfish 12 chess engine. Black's move is queen takes h4, black's best move. With a slight advantage for white. I'm just wondering why not queen here. Okay, so here, then there, then a4. Oh, now g4. What happens after here? Then f5, then I go here. Okay, then I guess the idea is here. And if check, then king h8. Even king h7. Okay. And black has the lead in development. He has strong central pawns occupying many squares. And he can just move the bishop, maybe d7, then try to open up the center. Okay. So my move was incorrect. I mean, here, let's see. I'm gonna turn on the engine here. Okay, computer says bishop, oh, g4. The computer says g4 here, but the second option for, according to the computer, is queen h4. Then if it goes here, bishop here, and if it goes there, then g4. Okay, so white still has this g4 idea. The idea is if queen takes pawn, queen takes queen, bishop takes queen, then rook takes. This knight is on c6 is hanging. Also, this pawn on c7 is hanging. So now it is black who has many weak pawns. Okay, I mean queen h4 is still right, but g4 looks like a computer move. I mean, why would you play g4? Wow. Okay, so g4, since the bishop has to stay. Okay, we're already good that. So what are black's choices? Rook d8, knight there, queen e7, now a d3, bishop e4, bishop there, rook takes b7. I'm gonna just play queen here, right? What's wrong with this move? f5? Oh, shoot. Then f6? Oh, I can't believe this. f6, then, okay, f6, then just take here. Oh, no. Takes here, then queen h7. That's it. Game over. So after f6, then bishop takes. Now, the queen cannot go to h7 because queen and e7 is just gonna take it. Wow, this is amazing. The position is sharp. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the engine now. Okay, bishop e6. So rook takes b7, knight d4. What is the idea? If takes, then bishop to d5, forking the rook on b7 and the rook on h1. C takes d4 and white 1. Okay, maybe here, then just go there, bishop e4. Am I correct? I'm gonna turn on the chess engine. Oh, it's not even bishop e4. It's bishop a3, queen g5. So, attacking the queen first on e7, and for example, it moves. Where does it move? Queen d7, let's say. Queen d7 then takes. You don't even need to play bishop e4 because the rook is defended by the knight, so there's no problem. You just take, then move it back, and bishop takes, the knight takes. White has a bishop and a knight and a pawn, right? Against the just the bishop and knight. But in this position, white's pieces have good squares like f5 for the knight, or even bishop to go to f5. Whereas black's dark squared bishop is It's being blocked by its own pawn. Okay. I'm gonna turn off the engine now. Huh, that's interesting. Wow. So rook takes b7, knight d4, c takes, then bishop a3. It's fine. So in a game, played knight d4. Wow. Code, apparently it was frustrating to play with black. Farley is black here. Managed to play 4 moves before sacrificing his pieces. So instead of knight d4, rook d8. Is this the knight h3, queen e7? Okay, this is what we look at earlier. This is the line that we look at. C takes d4, says here I want quickly and cut the train. Queen takes g4, bishop f3, queen g3 check, move the king. E takes d4, rook b3. Maybe traps like if, for example, black goes there, then hitting the queen and the king at the same time. So bishop e6 first, trying to prevent white from going to d5. Rook takes b7, bishop f6, d3. Ooh, one move checkmate. How do you defend against one move checkmate? Queen takes here. Oh, okay. It's not just queen f2 is the threat. There's another threat here too. So black has 2 threats. So instead of trying to defend against those 2 threats, I just decided, okay, sacrifice my... I'm gonna get rid of that strong bishop. Then... bishop h6, rook f8. Queen here. Maybe threatening to play queen g5 to exchange the queens. Queen e5. Threatening to checkmate. Rook b1, check. King g2. Code, without any doubt, g4 is my favorite move. White's g pawn and king both look bad but cannot be attacked in an effective way. It brings an old saying to mind. A weakness is only a weakness if it can be attacked. Okay, that's a good lesson to remember. A weakness is only a weakness if it can be attacked. All right. So I hope you guys learned something today. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, to my Twitch, and to my Facebook. And don't forget to write a comment what do you think of this video and share it to your friends. Bye-bye.